What's up, Whisper Nation? And welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the show. We are the Fantasy Whisperers. I am Johnny Game Time. You find me on Twitter at Johnny_Game Time. I'll be joined in just a second by the host of the show, my big friend, Big Travie, my main man, Big Travie. We're going to be talking these guys that you are going to want to make sure you either try to trade for right now, try to trade them away, or you try to do some wheels and deals to get some things done. We're going to let you know who those players are in this episode, as well as drop a couple of matchups this weekend for wide receivers that you're going to either want to temper your expectations for, or make sure you throw them in your lineup if you got them, because they are in a smash spot, a mega boss day. We'll talk about all that and more right here on the Fantasy Whispers.
Right here.
That's right, Whisper Nation. Like Johnny said, we're going to be talking about some guys you can trade for, you can trade away, some targets for you. We're going to talk about cornerback matchups, and we're going to be talking about all those topics heading into Week 8 as well. We got some news and notes to go over as well. But if you like that fresh fantasy football content and you want more of it, consider subscribing on the YouTube channel and giving this and other videos a like on your way in. And it is time to welcome you all the way in, Whisper Nation. My name is Big Trav. You can find me on Twitter at BigTravyTFW. As Johnny said, he is joining me today, and you can find him on Twitter at Johnny_Game Time. What is good, my brother?
It's Wednesday, dude. It is trade day. Waivers went through. Let us know in the comments if you're joining us live right now who you got on waivers. Let us know. Did you get any Treadwell? Or any Gainwell? I got some Gainwell. I got any big names, exciting names that you were able to land, Big Travie? Waiver wire?
I had Lamar Jackson in a couple leagues, wanted to get Carson Wentz, was able to land him in a couple leagues there. Leagues that I was struggling at quarterback in too as well. I was able to land Wentz, and I really like Wentz's at least next 3 games. He sets up really nicely. He's had a nice floor over the last couple weeks, and as his ankles heal up, we get T.Y. Hilton and maybe Pittman back together. That could
your boy T.Y.
upside here. So we'll see how long T.Y. stays in the lineup, but he looks like he might be coming back this week. So just a lot of stuff out on waivers that we love. We love everybody here in Whisper Nation. Mr. Miyagi, Jay Rain, Lai, Harry Wolf. Welcome in, guys. We will be getting to all your questions as we always do towards the end of the show. But first, we're going to get into Z in the chat.
Z coming on,
Z?
What's up, Z?
First, we're going to work through some of these guys to trade for, trade away. We're going to do some news and notes, cornerback, wide receiver matchups that we like and don't like this week. And then, of course, we will get to those questions. If you want to skip all of that and have us sell out and get to your question right now, you can hit that super chat button and donate to the show. Help us keep the lights on around here, and we will answer that question immediately. Otherwise, Harry, we see your question. We will get to it towards the end of the show. Keep rocking with us. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. And you know, we'll keep rocking with you. But Johnny, before all the good stuff, I need to remind Whisper Nation about Underdog Fantasy and tell them about this epic deal they have. First of all, Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. They have player prop bets like over/under on touchdowns, receiving yardage, rushing totals, and more. And with all this information we give you each and every day over here on the Fantasy Whispers, we're going to help you build the best bet slips each and every week. But that's not all. When you go to underdogfantasy.com, Johnny, or download the app right now, you'll get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 when you use the promo code TFW.
What?
That's underdogfantasy.com. Download the app. Use the promo code TFW for up to $100 in matched money for your first deposit. That's TFW for $100. We love it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great deal. Amazing deal. Make sure you got we do some draft games on there. It's a great platform. We enjoy it. So head on over there, sign up, and you'll be able to play with us. We got some content coming out in regards to Underdog. So make sure you get that. Use that promo code. Help us out here at the channel. Win yourself some money. We'll help you win some money. It's all good.
Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, guys, we're going to jump into the show. Of course, this is about trading for and trading away players. Buy low, sell high. Z had an interesting tweet earlier today about buying low and selling high, and there's a little bit too much of that culture. But we know that you're tempted to go and trade for and trade away. We got to pander kind of to the audience here. But we understand what that means. We understand that we need to look at players who are trending up, trending down, and take a look at that and say, okay, if you're going to trade, here are some guys. So we're going to get into that. But first, we're going to talk about some news and notes around the league. And first of all, this isn't a huge deal, but Mike White is going to start for the Jets versus the Bengals. We knew that they traded for Joe Flacco. Flacco's not going to start. The elite Joe
So he's
Flacco
not
will
elite.
not start. Yeah, he will not.
You
start
trade
this
for
week.
him, and he's not elite. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this week he's not elite. Maybe next week. We're going to move on.
Week.
So again, fire up your Cincinnati Bengals against the Jets as we hottest waiver stream defense that we have this week.
How real talk? Like, do you think Joe Flacco was really bummed about going back to the Jets? Like he had it, like getting that call had to been terrible, right?
I mean, it's not like Philly is that much better than the Jets right now.
Fair point. And at least it wasn't back to Adam Gase. That
he's
would
going to get
terrible.
a chance to play. So he's got to be excited about that.
Maybe you're excited to play if you're Joe Flacco. I don't know. Maybe he was probably enjoying that bench,
maybe
that paycheck.
The Texans have designated. Speaking of bench and coming back from it, the Texans have designated Tyrod Taylor, his hamstring, to return off injured reserve, and his practice window is now open. So his Sunday status is up in the air, but Tyrod is getting closer here, Johnny. Good news for some of the weapons over in Houston.
Absolutely. You love this fact. Hey, we should probably go check to see if he's available on in the listener league. Love to pick him up with the stuff that we've been having to deal with lately. But
you should do that right now. Actually, you should go do that.
No, I'm going to do that live right now.
Immediately.
Whatever. We're doing it live.
Rob Gronkowski ribs is back at practice Wednesday, so that's what you like to see. However, Antonio Brown was spotted with a crutch at Bucs practice, so it doesn't look like he is looking as likely to come back as Gronk. I would actually maybe put Gronk as a little bit more confident to come back here this week than I would AB. So adjust accordingly. Continue to monitor that. Obviously, we have Thursday and Friday still. It's only Wednesday. This is kind of the maintenance day for veterans. So let's take a look at how this progresses and then stick with us on both Thursday on tomorrow's show, where we'll be going live for the Thursday night matchup. And then Friday's show is the News and Nuggets, the injury update show. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications on so you can be updated as well. Johnny, Baker Mayfield has not ruled out playing versus Pittsburgh this weekend. I doubt he plays.
Yeah, I love how Baker has not ruled it out. Like,
yeah, well, they're gonna
they're gonna rule you out. Like his thing, did you hear? He has to get this healed before he even plays. So I don't think it was a fracture in his shoulder.
Yeah, the upper dorsimus is connected to the lower latimus. It's boring, but it's my life.
Yeah, it's boring. We don't want to bore you with the details here, but that's concerning.
Okay, so Barkley, Shepard, Tony, Galladay, all iffy for Monday Night Football. I would imagine all these guys sit, and we're going to be rolling with a Darius Slayton, who was a hot waiver ad, a Dante Pettis, who was a fringe waiver ad, and Evan Ingram, who multiple teams are now expressing interest in Evan Ingram. So remember, next Tuesday is the trade deadline. A lot of big names to look at. Now, Evan Ingram, Marlon Mack, and, of course, Deshaun Watson. And sources are telling us that the owner, David Tepper of the Panthers, is not expected to pursue Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson at this time. And the QB has only waived his no-trade clause for the Dolphins. So continue to watch the Dolphins as they pursue our guy Deshaun Watson. On Tuesday is the final day for that to happen.
Yeah,
next Tuesday.
What's interesting about it, Travis, a couple of things. Deshaun has only waived his trade rights to be traded to Miami right now. There's no other team he's willing or said that he would be willing to waive those trade rights for other than Miami. Now, of course, that will change or could change instantly if another team seems interested and he wants to play. The second part of this is that it is coming out this morning. Roger Goodell and the NFL Commissioner Office came out and it was reported that they are not going to or they have reported that they're not going to put Deshaun Watson on the commissioner exempt list, even if he gets traded at this time because of
how that's reported.
Right, because they said it is an active investigation.
Right.
and there's nothing to.
It's a little laughable because what Goodell said was that it was an active investigation and they understand that the legal process is ongoing and they really respect that legal process.
Yeah.
However, they have never
For the first
done
time
this
ever.
for the first time ever,
in the
they're
history.
respecting the legal process. It remains to be seen if he is actually traded, what the NFL will do at that point, because then you're going to get a fan base activated in either saying they're not for this or they're against it, and we'll see. Now, in the past,
Yeah.
they have done this, and kind of it hasn't mattered, but we will see how it works out. Continue to stash Deshaun Watson, see what happens Tuesday, and if he doesn't get traded, then you can kind of move on from that stash, that lottery a pick there. All right, last piece of news, and this is a big one for Thursday night, and we'll know more. But MVS is expected to play. It's been reported now that he will play. I'm going to talk to you later about how I wanted to pick up MVS, Allen Lazard, and some of these wide receivers. I'm going to talk to you later how I don't think that's the way that Green Bay will attack the Cardinals, and I think you should temper expectations. But that's a little teaser. We're going to get into the show, and it's time for the meat and the potatoes of the show, Johnny. It's a buy low, sell high segment. It's trade for, trade away. Johnny, I want you to start us off here with your buy low, because that's the really exciting stuff. Who can we go target for a big second half, a guy that can really boost you for that playoff run?
I love this segment, Travis, and I love talking about this player that we were high on him coming into the season. We said there's a potential that he could lead this team in targets. And then what do we get through the first half of the season? We found that, or we got his actual counterpart has just been absolutely setting the fantasy world and the fantasy community on fire. I'm talking about none other than T. Higgins. And of course, we know his Jamar Chase has just been lighting up the fantasy community so far this season. But I'm telling you right now is the perfect opportunity to go after T. Higgins. One, because Jamar Chase is having such an amazing season so far that T. Higgins is kind of looking like the wide receiver that's being kind of put to the side. People aren't respecting what T. Higgins is actually putting on the field. Look, 20%, 22%, and 43% target shares since returning back, Travis, from that shoulder injuries, with the Bengals passing volume picking up, and it's gaining some steam, some real good steam with Joe Burrow. Now is the time to go and target T. Higgins, who is a wide receiver 3 right now, who ranks outside of the top 50. He will not finish that way rest of season. First 2 weeks, he averaged 83% snap share. Since coming back, Travis, he's only seen a snap share around 70% once, or above 70% once. So he's not fully back yet. However, in 3 out of the 5 games that he's played this season, he's had 4 receptions and at least 58 receiving yards. So that's a really safe floor of 10 fantasy points in PPR. And then again, the upside. Last week, 15 targets despite only playing 67% of the snap share there in Cincy. Travis, upcoming games: Jets, Cleveland, then they get a bye, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, LA Chargers, San Francisco. Those aren't teams that you're necessarily terrified of.
Well, the Chargers is a bad one, but other than that, I think
other than that, you can throw on. Yeah, exactly. Other than that, you can throw on these guys. And so T. Higgins is a guy that you can go out right now, get super. He's not expensive, and because he's coming off the injury, he's not getting these mega ball stays. But they're coming. I'm telling you, they're coming.
Targets, man, that's the big one for me. If he can get that kind of volume, this offense continues to go more pass heavy. We've seen it, and we'll talk a little bit on the matchup show, which you can get on all podcast platforms, about what that means for Joe Mixon. I almost put Joe Mixon as a sell high today, but we'll talk a little bit more about other players. Mr. Miyagi has a relevant question here, though. Tony or Higgins rest of season, maybe as a stash this week. How would you go with it? I'll tell you right now, it's Higgins for me, and it's not necessarily close because we've seen Higgins do this already in the NFL. We haven't seen Tony really do it other than one game. And Higgins is part of an offense I trust a whole lot more right now than the Giants, and he doesn't have the injury risk right now. Yeah. So I think for me, it's Higgins. Like, there's just too much working towards Higgins. Now, if Tony was healthy, I think this would be a harder question. But right now, with Higgins healthy and rocking and rolling, I would go with that.
I love Tony, but yeah, I agree with your logic there. But I do
My
like
buy
seeing him.
low here, Johnny, is your boy Chase Edmonds. And I think it's
getting him back
because
on the show.
yeah, I think it's because it's a situation here where he's kind of finally put the shoulder behind him. He's
Mhm.
seen 23% and then 11% of the rushing market share in weeks 5 and 6. And then that boosted way up to 43% of the market share in week 7, his highest of the season. Those 15 carries were not only his highest of the season, but 5 more than Connor had in that game against Houston. He still has 15% target market share in this elite offense. It's a top 5 offense in scoring right now. He's yet to get a receiving touchdown, and he's got 5 red zone targets on the year. That ranks 3rd on the team, so we love that. They're still using him in the red zone. So, yes, Connor dominates carries inside the 5, but Edmonds still does have 9 carries inside the 20. So they aren't completely going away from him in the red area of the field. And I just think right now, with the shoulder injury behind him, he didn't score last week, so he's not going to be high up. Go get this deal done before Thursday night against the Packers and get yourself, because I think they're top 10 in receptions allowed to running backs. So this is going to be a good spot for him because I think they're really going to use him in this game. And plus, if he continues to get more of the rushing market share and continues to be effective with that, we can actually see more of a changing of the guard here. And yes, you could see something where, James Conner becomes a rich man's Jordan Howard with the Dolphins, where he just comes in and plunges in for a touchdown. And I really think that's something that could really benefit you, or if you're a Chase Edmonds owner. So go and snag Chase Edmonds if you can buy him low right now.
Absolutely. I love this. We keep getting hit up because people are concerned about Chase Edmonds because he's not exploding. He hasn't gotten a touchdown yet, which I think is going to change going forward. They really do like Chase Edmonds. And then you talk about this offense, Travis. People don't realize, but once again, for the 4th year now, or the 3rd year in a row, the Arizona Cardinals are top 7 in rushing offense in the NFL. You want a piece of that, and you want to get
a piece of that.
You want a piece of that. You won't. And so again, I think moving forward, you're going to start seeing, as some of these games get a little bit tighter for the Cardinals, you're going to be seeing more and more of Chase. So I do agree with this one. He's so solid.
Before we move on to the buy low the sell highs here, we have some AB news that Mr. Miyagi is helping us break right here. Arian's saying it could be a long-term, and here's the actual update here. It says, speaking Wednesday, Coach Bruce Arians said Antonio Brown ankle is dealing with a sprain near his heel, and it could be more of a long-term injury. So continue to monitor this. He's on a crutch right now. Who knows? They haven't put him on IR yet, so that's still a promising sign. We'll see if that happens this week. We'll see.
That's concerning. What's also concerning is that he apparently injured that, in the 2nd or 3rd quarter of that game, and then came out and played on it again and scored a tutty. It's like, what?
Sit out, buddy. Rest up. Heal up. Get it? Heal. All right. So let's move on here to the buy or to the sell high targets. My sell high target, and this one could actually come back to burn me. The Deebo Samuel one, which I will apologize for later, is also burning me a little bit here. But I still think that Cortland Sutton is a sell high candidate, Johnny. He's been incredible. Don't get me wrong. He's the wide receiver 17 in PPR over his last 3. He's averaged last 3 games. He's averaged 10 targets, 7 catches, 90 yards, and almost a touchdown per game. He leads the league in air yards with 928. He's 5th in the NFL in air yard share with 43%. So why am I saying to sell high on Cortland Sutton? All of his advanced metrics are good. The elephant in the room here, Johnny, for Sutton is Jerry Jeudy is set to return. And I have some real concern that Sutton can keep up this target share, air yard share dominance with Jeudy back in the lineup. Additionally, Sutton has been very dependent on this volume. In his last 23 games, Johnny, he has not had, in the games that he has not had at least 10 targets, in 18 of those games, he's averaged 12 fantasy points in those matchups. Meanwhile, he's averaged 18 fantasy points in the games that he's had at least 10 targets. So he needs the volume in order to push him into that realm of the top 20, top 15. And I think for me, that's going to be hard to hit with Jerry Jeudy in the lineup. So go ahead and sell Cortland Sutton if you can now. Get an RB1 and RB2 in return with a piece maybe with Sutton. And you'd be looking like you could get out of Sutton right at the peak of his value right now, which is kind of where I'm at with him. I do think Sutton's a boss. I don't think he's not a talented guy. And I do think this could happen, like where Jeudy comes back and there's injury risk and he doesn't really live up to it. But I think more than likely, Judy's a first-round pick. Judy's has good chemistry. He fits the style better for Teddy Bridgewater than Sutton does as the boundary wide receiver. So I actually think, that sometimes air yards show us that the connection really is there as strong, because what they say is you haven't gotten all these yards in air yards. So unrealized air yards, right? So what we can see maybe is that Jerry Jeudy stands to be the more efficient wide receiver in this offense, and that could be a concern for somebody like Cortland Sutton, who's lived so much on the volume.
Jerry Jeudy is definitely a concern. It will be interesting to see. We have seen Teddy B, consistently deliver, multiple fantasy assets for us. So hopefully that continues, but I don't know. He hasn't been looking too great this year. I know.
Yeah, there's a world, right, where the offense takes another step forward through the passing game with Jeudy back. They could be more efficient. That could definitely make up for it.
That's a great point.
I will say that I think more than likely this hinders Sutton just a little bit as far as volume, and we've shown the numbers when he doesn't get those 10 targets. It's kind of he's dependent on it. So Johnny, who is your sell high? And if Z is still in this chat, Z is not going to be happy with your sell high here.
I won't. You won't be happy with the sell high. He would. I know he is a fan of Patterson, so he is on that boat as well. I've seen him on Twitter, tweeting about Patterson. But I'm gonna tell you why you need to go out right now if you have Antonio Gibson and you need to try to get rid of him. Do whatever you can. You want to try to get out from under him because he is just a ticking time bomb at this point. Why do I say that? Well, because if you look at what he's done lately, what have you done for me lately, right? That's the business we're in. Back-to-back games with less than 42% snap share. The game script, when you look at the breakdowns of the opportunity percentages in which he gets in negative, neutral, and positive game script are as follows. 17% when it's a negative game script, 26% on a neutral game script, and then 37% on a positive game script, Travis. Their next games coming, this is a schedule leading up until the fantasy playoffs. Denver, then a bye, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Seattle, and then Dallas. They might be in maybe the Denver game. They could potentially be in Carolina. But other than that, it's looking like a negative game script. And I just told you 17% is what he gets when they are in a negative game script. Then not only that, you've also got Gibson dealing with the shin injury, which hasn't been talked about a lot, which is why I think you could still get quite a bit back for Gibson right now. But if you look at what Washington's doing right now, Washington, Field Yates tweeted this out yesterday. Washington had brought in to work out Kerryon Johnson, Mr. Knee Brace, Big Travis guy, and Donta Foreman. Now, do I think any of these guys are going to come in and impose and you need to put? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but they are looking at other running backs, which tells me they need to add to the depth there because they know also what's inevitable. And that is that Antonio Gibson is going to most likely end up end the season on the IR. And you want to get out from in front of that. The reason I say that is because both Dr. David Chow, and the Fantasy Doctors, both great follows on Twitter, as well as they put out content. They are both obviously MDs and discuss fantasy injuries. And both of them have come out and said that this is something that you don't heal from. It's not something you can play through and it's going to heal itself. What he is now is the best he's going to be, and it's only going to get worse from here on out. And so that is why I'm saying
you think he's running at a percentage of it. Like he's not 100%, right? He's running at that, and it's not going to get any better. So if he's running at 70%, that's the peak of what he could be for this year.
And then you're crossing your fingers every single week, hoping that he does not get severely injured where you put him in your lineup, he's out early, and then you're SOL, right?
Yeah.
And so I would just get out from under it right now, go and trade him. What you could do, here's a selling point. You could be like, hey, even though, because most people don't look at the snap percentages when you're trading in most leagues, they're going to look at how many touches did he have. Well, in the last game, he still had 16 touches. So you can still argue, hey, yeah, I understand he's dealing with this shin injury, but they're still using him. They're managing his workload to get him the rest of the season, but it's not likely to happen.
Yeah, I like this breakdown. This is something that we could definitely get ahead of and try and get out from underneath. So I think the advice is sound here, and backed up with some really good logic. All right, we're going to move on to the cornerback wide receiver showdown matchups. The part of the show that we like to say, hey, look at these matchups, look at who the wide receivers matched up against, and temper expectations, or this is a point you can attack with your lineups and try and get them in there. My first one, which is a plus matchup, is Deebo Samuel. And I have to apologize to Whisper Nation, as I said on this show. I put Deebo on this list as a sell high a couple weeks back. He's done nothing but continue to dominate for his team and for FF managers. Hopefully you got a nice haul in return. We've had people get DK or Calvin Ridley in return. I think those are good.
Glorious.
Good hauls, but Deebo has continued to do stuff really well. Wide receiver 6 in PPR, wide receiver 7 in standard. No game under 10 points in PPR, Johnny. He's got a massive 34% target market share. So all those things we like for this matchup. But then again, this week he's going to run against Vildor and Johnson of the Bears. These cornerbacks, in fact, all 3 of the Bears cornerbacks ranked below 60 in PFF cornerback grade. That's not good, Johnny. It's a scale of 100. That's a D. That's not going to do it for you. And so we like what we're seeing for this matchup for Deebo Samuel this week, lined up against these really, really crappy corners. So again,
getting a D for don't start him.
Yeah, like put him on your bench.
Yeah.
So again, Whisper Nation, I would be very excited about Deebo Samuel in my lineup this week. Not that you needed that extra push, but this is another week where you can roll him out there before we don't see the cliff falling off in this one. Also, Khalil Mack announced that he won't be playing in this game either. He's ailing with a foot. So you like your San Francisco 49er playmakers in this one. We see all those in the chat. Eagle, Fang, Goat, Andre Silva, Mr. Miyagi, appreciate you. We are going to get to your questions as soon as we get through this segment, but we are finishing this up right now, which means, Johnny, give me a plus matchup at the cornerback wide receiver chart that you really like this week.
Big Travis not going to like this one, but I had to do it for Whisper Nation. And luckily, like I said, we moved this show from Thursday to Wednesdays. So now I can talk about the Thursday people, and Big Travis doesn't get mad at me. I am starting, and I'm telling you to go out and start and play AJ Green this week. If you got a bye week, you need to fill in. If AJ Green's available on the waiver and you need to play this week, you could do a whole lot worse than AJ Green. This is a really awesome game that's going to happen on Thursday night between the Packers and the Cardinals. It should be high scoring. Then you look at AJ Green's matchup against Rasul Douglas, who has been just giving up a lot of yards to wide receivers. Then you look at what AJ Green has done, in his limited action. He's been producing as a solid wide receiver 2 for you. And then you look at this matchup. On paper, Packers giving up the 9th fewest receiving yards to wide receivers this season, so being pretty stout there. However, if you dig a little deeper, it gets kind of ugly. You dig deeper and you see that before the Washington game last week, the Packers had actually surrendered 15 out of 15 red area touchdowns. So when teams got in the red area, 100% of the time they were scoring a touchdown until last week against Taylor Heineke's Washington football team offense. I think that was more so the reason they were, as opposed to, is Taylor Heineke a good quarterback? The other thing I would just want to mention and throw out, we like to say this on show. Someone mentioned it with Gaskin on Sunday, and it's just fun and makes it for a fun argument. It's not actually any theory behind it, but don't look now. Every other game, AJ Green has scored a touchdown in, and your boy didn't score a touchdown last week, so he's going to score a touchdown this week.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Facto, connect the dots.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's. I think without Jair Alexander, Kevin King has also been out. Not that Kevin King's the greatest cornerback, but yeah, we have some situations where we had to go get Rasul Douglas. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to stick with that game and tell you to temper your expectations on the Packers wide receivers, Johnny, because MVS is going to be back in this game. We got Equanimeous St. Brown as well on the outside. They're going to be matched up against Robert Alford and Byron Murphy Jr., and both of those players provide a below average or poor matchup for wide receivers against them. and this is not a good spot for these. Arizona has allowed the 12th fewest yards to opposing wide receivers. Green Bay will be down to MVS and reserve wide receivers, but MVS is coming back from the IR with a soft tissue issue. I got to admit, I'm a big scared here for the pass catchers. Cardinals, for 3 straight weeks, have allowed 14 or fewer total points to offenses that they've faced. I'm just in a situation here where I don't have a lot of faith. I think the way the Cardinals or the way the Packers are going to attack the Cardinals is against their PFF ranked 30th ranked rush defense. They're going to use a lot of Aaron Jones. They're going to want to attack with Aaron Jones up the middle, pass catching, Aj Dillon as well, play ball control, keep away from Kyler Murray. And I think that's what they're going to try and do here in this game, especially with their wide receivers not available. So I think you should actually avoid. I know we started the week talking about picking up some of these wide receivers, but if it's not Allen Lazard, if it's not Devontae Adams, I really don't want it right now. And I think new information has come in and changed my mind about this. So Whisper Nation, hopefully you won't have to go out and start any of these guys. You can avoid them. Johnny, your last quarterback wide receiver matchup here is a temper expectation one for your boy, Jacoby.
This hurts. This one hurts a little bit. I feel for the guy. And watch, this is going to be the week when he scores a touchdown because I'm saying this, but here's the reality. Jacoby, normally, and especially in PPR, he's been very solid for you. However, this week, he gets the Chargers. We talked about them just prior to a little earlier in the show when we were talking about a wide receiver upcoming matchup. LA Chargers, second fewest fantasy points to wide receivers this season. Very difficult matchup. And then you're looking at, they've only allowed 3 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers this season, Travis. That is the LA Chargers. Jacoby, my poor boy Jacoby, couldn't catch a tutty if it fell from the sky and hit him on the head at this point. This is how sad it's gotten. Realize this, okay? Last 2 years, Travis, Jacoby's had 100 receptions for over 1,000 yards. Almost 1,100 yards. Actually, no, over 1,100 yards. Excuse me. 800 or 100 receptions, over 1,100 yards receiving, and yet he has yet to score a touchdown. The average in the NFL for a touchdown for a wide receiver is 150 yards. Every 150 yards on average, a wide receiver will score a touchdown in the NFL. Jacoby's at 1,100 yards and has not scored a touchdown. This is unbelievable. It's almost like ridiculously funny that he hasn't been able to get in now at this point. But like I said, very difficult matchup this week. So I'm getting him out of my lineups, even though he's been very consistent, been very solid, especially in a PPR. I'm just benching him this week. And watch, he's going to finally score a touchdown. We're all going to have him on our bench. But it is what it is. Temper your expectations on that matchup.
Well, that does it for this part of the show where we're going to be talking about all these different quarterback wide receiver matchups. We gave you the trade for, trade away advice. Johnny, show the people what they can win if they go over to patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers. This month, we're giving away a signed Damian Harris jersey. So get some. Go over to patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers and get in. All you got to do is subscribe at the $5 level. You could win that jersey at the end of this month when we're giving it away.
$10 level. $5 level gives you
$10 level. Still a great deal to get a jersey. And we give away sports card packs as well, which come with great cards in there. So make sure
you also get bonus content. You get bonus content, extra weekly shows. You get a Discord invite to private channels, which we're also upgrading, by the way. We got some deets coming on that soon. But lots of stuff you get over at the patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers. $5 and $10 levels get you a lot of stuff. So if you want to help support the channel, want to help keep getting out awesome fantasy football content, please help us out and go over to the Fantasy Whispers Patreon page.
All right, it's time to get into this Q&A, these questions, these sit-start stuff. Let's get into it, Johnny. Here, Mr. Miyagi says, okay, I'm 3-4, and I need a win. Quarterbacks Wentz and Tannehill, Teddy B, Darnold, and Jameis Winston are free agents. I love Wentz this week. I think he is in a great spot. He's at a better floor than Tannehill, and a lot of those guys that are free agents there for you. And now he's getting Tennessee, who is a top 5, top 10 matchup for the quarterback this week.
Love it.
Says wide receivers are Ridley, Lamb, Deontay Johnson, running backs Swift and Eckler. Flex, start 1, Tony, A-Rob, Herbert, Alex Collins, and Gaskin.
I'm not pulling Herbert off
I
of
think
my
Khalil
lineup.
Herbert is the flex, yeah. Defense,
That dude's
Arizona
been a
or
stud.
Pittsburgh? I think I trust Pittsburgh a little more, but then again, Arizona's been the number one defense, so you may want to keep him in your lineup there.
I go Arizona.
What's up, Jay?
What's up, Jay?
Guys? Harry Wolf says Ridley or DK rest of season PPR, Johnny.
DK. I do think Ridley will get better, but he's not going to touch DK this year.
I don't know, man. With Gino there and
Why
PPR.
are you scared of Gino? He loves DK.
Yeah, he had
one of his best games of the season.
Yeah, he had one play.
Hey, one play is all that you need.
I landed Wentz, Herbert at Pittsburgh defense. Yeah, I think Wentz is a good play this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Herbert was still available
and
on
Pittsburgh
your
defense. Once again, Z was in here. Eagle Fang saying, "What's up, guys?" Harry Wolf's. Oh, he asked that one already. Z saying he's making a comeback in the listener league, going on a tear. Yep, he has been able. Last time I was 2-5 was in 2013. Ooh. So he faced some adversity.
Yeah, he realized Whisper Nation is no joke, no walk in the park. Whisper Nation showing out in our listener league. we're 3-4 in that.
Mr. Miyagi letting everybody know karate practices tonight at 8 p.m. Bring the Coors.
Yeah.
Coors banquet. You got it, says Eagle Fang.
Are you a Coors banquet or just or the Rocky Mountain Blues?
I like.
Is there a big both? Real talk. Really... Is there a big difference in the?
Yeah.
In the,
oh yeah, you can tell that. Yeah, you can tell that light is light.
I'm not a big Coors Light fan. If you can't tell.
I'm not a big light beer fan in general. But I'll drink it when we're playing beer pong.
But he loves some Natty Ice.
Yeah. I have a question. Z says, "Is 10:30 a.m. too early for a double cheeseburger and a vanilla shake?"
Nope.
And Zare, our boy Miyagi says, "Never. It's never too early." Jets are garbage, says Eagle Fang. Yep, that is true.
Yeah, except for their corners.
It's 2:13 in Okinawa, so you are good.
There you go, dude.
Mr. Miyagi asked Tony or Higgins. We answered that one. Jay says Samaje Perine Bengals or Jamal Williams for the Lions. I actually like Perine over Jamal this week. Perine in a boat race spot for the Jets. The Jets just gave up, Johnny, 5 touchdowns to 3 different Patriot running backs. So I actually like Perine's ability to get in the end zone here.
Yeah.
Eagle Fang saying sprains are worse than breaks in regards to AB's situation. Continue to monitor that one on Friday.
Don't like that at all.
AB saying that it could be even after the bye, or BA saying it could be after their week 10 bye. So continue to monitor that.
Let's hope that's the best case scenario at this point.
What
that's what
should I do with Higgins? And Mr. Miyagi says that hold Higgins was the advice earlier in the show. Yep. Again, he is a buy low for us. How are we feeling about Laviska Shenault?
I am concerned about Laviska, to be honest with you. He's moved over to the DJ Chark role. I was really excited initially, but he's just not seeing we thought we would get an uptick in targets. That's not what's happening. His targets have actually transferred to Jamal Agnew, which we've talked about on our show as a low, a sneaky snart this week and moving forward on waiver wires if you're in a deeper league. I love his talent. Absolutely love the talent. He's going to have games. It's just really hard to predict because he's running the routes that DJ Chark was running, which are the good routes to have, right? Like the down the field, they'll push it, they'll target him, 7 to 8 times a game. But how many is he coming down with? There are a lot, and it's going to be inconsistent there. So he's going to be more of a matchup play for me.
For sure. Did they mention anything about starting T. Higgins this week? It would depend on who you have, Goat. We'd have to see. It's hard for us to say, but he is in a good spot this week against the Jets. Even though it looks like a bad matchup on paper, their implied total is really high. So it's a team that's probably going to score a good amount of points against the Jets.
And you can always join us Sunday mornings. We go live 90 minutes before kickoff, and you can ask all your sit-start lineup questions there. We'll give you all the up-to-date information.
AJ Brown or Calvin Ridley, rest of season, half-point PPR. Give me AJ Brown, man. He is looking like healthy as ever right now.
Oh, man, he looks good.
Mr. Miyagi, should you trade Allen Robinson for Renfro? I would try to get more than Renfro back, but Robinson's basically a drop candidate at this
How
point.
bad is that, dude?
Yeah.
We're asking if we should draw or trade A-Rob for the
Try and sell
Renfro.
that name value a little bit more if you can. If
Yeah.
not, I understand wanting to get out of it.
Times are tough.
Tamian Bashkarov. I hope I didn't mess that up. I get Dalvin Cook, Deontay Johnson, Ridley, and Monty. I give Jefferson, Henderson, and one more. Options are Jacobs, Barkley, Javonte, and AB. You'd get Dalvin Cook, Deontay Johnson, Ridley, and Montgomery to give up Jefferson and Henderson. And hopefully you'd be able to give up like a Javonte or even AB right here.
Yeah, I would try AB.
Yeah, if you can give away AB even with this news, Tamian, go do that. But my second one would be Javonte. Keep Barkley and Jacobs right now. I think they're in better spots than Javonte just because Melvin Gordon's been
pretty good trade. Both sides. Good trade both sides.
Goat says choose two of my wide receiver 2 and flex options. Shepard, Higgins, Slayton. Oh, so this is Goat getting back to us here. Shepard, Higgins, Slayton, or Dearness Johnson. Roll with Slayton and Higgins here. Because Dearness, obviously, Chubb coming back and Shepard might not play. He's going to be probably out here. So I like those two. At least you'll know if Shepard does go, I'd be interested in playing Shepard just because of volume. But if he doesn't go, you'll have Slayton there, and I think that's a good start.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's see. Callaway or Aj Dillon this week? Half-point PPR, Johnny.
Oh, I want to say Callaway, but and
I think Dillon's a good answer here because of the weapons that are decreased here in the Packers offense.
You concerned about the fumble issues? He had 2
No,
last game.
I don't. Well, yeah, but I think it's not going to matter because they need playmakers this week.
True.
So because they need to attack Arizona in the way that they're the weakest, which is the run defense, I think that they're going to play ball control. And they're going to continue to run this zone read scheme and play Aj Dillon and Aaron Jones quite a bit here. I think that would be who I would go. And Callaway is non-existent.
You just can't trust him, man.
Yeah, he's non-existent. He doesn't even exist.
He's getting the targets.
Is Callaway even on the team? We don't know.
Oh, I mean, he's getting targets, but just Jameis doesn't target him enough.
I wouldn't trust it. AJ Brown, Ridley, Darrell Henderson. I don't know if that's Darrell Williams for Eckler and Deontay Johnson. Which D Williams is this?
Yeah, is it Damian or Darrell? Yeah, I think it's gotta be Darrell.
AJ Brown, Ridley, Darrell Henderson, and Darrell Williams for Eckler and Deontay Johnson. Which side do you like better? And Rodgers or Cousins this week?
I like the
AJ Brown, Ridley, Darrell Henderson side much better. You have a lot of players there for not a ton back in return. And this week, I think I would go Cousins, Johnny. It's a sad day, but I'm a little bit scared of Rodgers without the weapons against an Arizona defense that's been really, really good at attacking the quarterback. And again, I think this will be an Aaron Jones game. If the Packers win, I think it will be through Aaron Jones on the running game.
It'll be interesting to see if Chandler Jones is back for this game.
Is he out?
Well, he's missed the last 2 with COVID.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But
stay out, Chandler.
I mean,
Jones,
it hasn't slowed us down.
Oh, it's gonna slow you down, dude.
My boy, Marcus.
We get
Golden.
Bakhtiari back this week, so that's good.
Yeah, Bakhtiari is going to be a big upgrade.
So we'll see. Hopefully, these Packers can muster a shock the world win here. Nobody expects us to win. Nobody in the world expects us to win, so we're going to go out there and just get what we can do. And
Connor saying it's PPR. Yeah, I do think it's still fine. I don't think it's a terrible trade if you're giving away Eckler and Deontay.
But Darrell Henderson is the piece here that can on a week-to-week basis. He's not going to be as consistent as Eckler, but he has Eckler's ceiling on a week-to-week basis. So we
still have no indication when CEH is going to be back. So it could be a couple more weeks still for the Darrell show. So I'm fine with that trade.
Mr. Miyagi says, thanks, guys. You're welcome. 4-4 coming my way.
Yeah, let's get it.
Thank you to the rest of Whisper Nation who joined us today for the show. If you want more fresh fantasy football content, make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube and you turn the notifications on, as well as check in with us tomorrow. We'll be doing the Thursday night preview show. We'll be talking all about that. For Johnny Game Time Hicks, I'm Big Travie. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Right here.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. If you still have a lot to say about fantasy football, maybe you want to give Johnny a little bit of crap for his take today, then go on over to our Discord channel and join the conversation there. Click the link in the description below. And if you still want more content, check out one of these videos.